actually put some in my palette. These are the Shinhan Watercolors. This is the palette that I have. I have a rather large palette, so I tried to separate it by colors and then what I would use for skin tones, because I don't have a separate one for skin tones. And I did some swatches of the ones I do have. I didn't put all 30 in there. I mixed the black and white, a couple of blues. I know I mixed the purple, but this is my sheet. I probably should have put the purple in there, but I liked all of the blues better and all of the reds. So yeah, because I think I actually added all of the yellows that were in the set. Also you can probably see where my marks are, where I mixed up some of the colors. I'm pretty good at color matching, but what happened was these guys were so dark and so similar that I couldn't tell them apart. And for some reason I got this first one mixed up and I shouldn't have. This is actually the red violet. This is the Bordeaux, and this is the Crimson Lake. So they all have the same light fastness. I just have to remember that these numbers on here are messed up. I should have added these afterwards, but you know, you live and learn. I'm not even going to do a first impressions because I absolutely love them. I bought them off Amazon for under 30, so if you're looking for a nice watercolor set, I highly recommend them. I can show you after the video my test from last night, but today's testing, even though you cannot see it on the paper, I believe this is a beetroot. This is an orange beetroot. I've got a dragon fruit, and I've got a tomarillo there. I've never seen a tomarillo before. I'm very familiar with dragon fruits, and I've only ever seen Okay, so wow, this was quite a long study I did here. I think I started around 10 and finished around 2:30, and I'm sorry for the long and seemingly awkward pause here. I was doing some other things around the room and trying to find stuff, move things out of the way, get situated. So yeah. The first piece that I did here was actually a dragon fruit. Um, when I chose to do the watercolor studies, I wanted to do fruits and vegetables because that's usually what people do when they do watercolor studies or paint studies. Or any kind of study with any medium. Usually they go for fruit. The fruits that are most common are apples and oranges, I think, and sometimes lemons. And I wanted to step out of the box and do something entirely different. So I went with dragon fruits. They don't really have much of a taste to them, but they're really pretty, and I do like them in smoothies. They make my smoothies pretty. They do have a slight sweetness to them, but it is very, very slight. At any rate, this was actually a lot of fun to do. It was nice to sort of just take the paint and play and sort of look at my reference. Now, my reference wasn't nearly as bright as it probably should have been. I was using Pinterest, but I usually keep the screen on my tablet sort of dimmed, so it wasn't nearly as bright as it should have been. But it was good enough for me to see what I was doing. And I used the opera color and the, I believe it was the red violet. Yeah, they were such a lovely combo to do what I wanted. The only thing is there is no black in my palette. So when I hit the shadow areas later on in the piece, I was struggling kind of a bit. And now that I think about it, and now that I'm looking back at my my studies, I forgot to finish up the seeds and the other fruit that I did. But I tried to compensate for the lack of a black or getting a dark enough shadow. I probably could have glazed it to death and got it to a deep enough color to be close to black when not paying really close attention, but I decided not to go that far. If I were to go back and redo it, I would add a little more shadow to the bottom because otherwise it just looks kind of funky. But the dragon fruit was really interesting to paint. I knew immediately looking at it that I was going to hit it with that opera. And I actually thought about that when I was looking up the references. I was like, that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to hit it with the opera rose, and it's going to be awesome. But I knew I needed to tone it down because opera is a really almost kind of an, I want to say close to a fluorescent pink. It's not quite neon. It's a little too complex and deep to be neon, but it is close. um, I think the one thing that got me was the sort of green parts of the dragon fruit. Because they were varying tones of green, and even though I have several greens in the palette and know how to mix a little bit, it was still very strange. And I'm going to pause right here and apologize because some of these clips are more sped up than others. So if you realize that, I'm sorry if it throws you off a little bit. I tried to make this video as compact as possible, because there were quite a few clips. And I didn't really want to cut any out. But back to the piece, I think I've got the hang of glazing. I don't really have the hang of flat washes yet, unfortunately. I wish I did. But I'll get it eventually. Maybe the next time I do a watercolor study, I'll do something with a background instead of doing something with fruit. But yeah, trying to play around with those greens and get the shadows right. I think the dragon fruit actually took me the longest. It had the most clips, which is kind of sucky. But there's not a whole lot I can do about that. I really wanted to get it right. I wanted to really get that brightness, and sort of in the middle of doing it, I realized that I needed my highlights, and I don't have white in my palette either. And I know you're not really supposed to use white, and I didn't want to. So I tried my best to do a little bit of scrubbing. I have been sort of keeping the Frugal Crafter in my ear while I'm painting or while I'm drawing, and sometimes when I'm waiting for something to load, I'll sit and watch Lindsay. And I try to pick up some techniques that she uses, even if they don't necessarily pertain to what I'm doing exactly. It's good to try to pick up on some pieces. This really just makes me want a dragon fruit looking at it. I did have a little trouble blending though, because some of the green bits, they sort of blend right into the dragon fruit where the pink is, and I didn't quite know how to get that gradient effect that I was looking for. Maybe if someone knows how to watercolor better than me, has any tips or tricks about that, that would be helpful. Oh. The next piece that I moved on to here is called a tamarillo. I believe it's a fruit. I thought it was a vegetable, but I think it's a fruit. It's actually really pretty. The color kind of reminds me of a persimmon, but it's not quite as orange. This was interesting because it was orange and like a reddish orange, and when I got to the middle, I didn't know what to do because I didn't quite have an orange. And I was like, you know what? Let me slow my roll and think about it. And what would Lindsay do? She would use yellow ochre. So that's exactly what I went for, a yellow ochre. And it turned out a little better than I thought. It isn't quite as luscious as the picture, because there's definitely some highlights missing, which I could probably go hit with a white colored pencil, or if I had some white gouache, or even gel pen, that would totally take care of the problem. Like I said, I forgot to go back and darken the seeds, but I wanted to sort of give it a rest, and let things dry, and just sort of forgot about it when I got to the golden beet. But I was actually really happy that I sort of got I don't know if that's the rind, or if that's even a piece you can eat. It's not quite white. It's sort of like this nectarine color, like a really, really light nectarine color, and that even threw me through a loop. I was just like, oh, this is bordering on tan skin looking, but not quite. So I used the Juan yellow and some yellow ochre, and I just tried my best to dilute it with water and get it the right shade. And then I wanted to go around the rim because it wasn't all one shade, so that was kind of okay. I didn't think I did too badly. I'm a little disappointed with the stem because that didn't quite come out how I wanted. I definitely needed a highlight, but it was this strange brown color, but I think there were green undertones to it, and I couldn't quite get the undertone right for it. It just looks like this really dark stem. It doesn't look bad, but I can definitely tell I didn't quite get it. And I was a little frustrated by that. But other than that, I'm otherwise pleased with it. I know next time maybe I should do a background or add some sort of shadow instead of having floating produce. It's kind of weird, but you know what? It's my weird. It's my fruit and vegetables. It was funny though is the page before I did a study. I guess it would be Thursday into Friday. I did a study. I was like, okay, I'll do some vegetables because everybody does fruit. So I did 2 vegetables and a macaron. I'm like, this has nothing to do with this, but I had fun painting that macaron. I'm just going to tell you that right now. And I kind of want one now. But, yeah, my teeth are starting to kick me in the guts here. And that's probably not a good idea. I definitely do not recommend any kind of sweets when your teeth are in pain, like mine are. But yeah, you could probably see me going back to that stem time after time. I should have scrubbed the area that I knew there was highlight and sort of left it alone. But I couldn't leave it alone. I couldn't leave the stem alone because I'm stubborn. But you know, you live and you learn, and this is a teachable moment. I'll probably write some notes down in my book here to sort of give an idea of what I did, what I need to hold back on, or just stuff for me. Also, I need more round brushes. I didn't realize I was so anemic in that area until I was painting yesterday. I have flat brushes. The water brushes I have are like medium to fine and more on the fine side. Yeah. I was not aware that I needed brushes so badly. So I am hoping to pick up a couple tomorrow when I go to work, just to, fluff up my little resume or my little arsenal here of paintbrushes. And it's kind of sad because you would have thought I noticed sooner, but I suppose because I wasn't doing that much watercolor and I was just sort of adjusted to using my water brushes, I didn't realize it. And the first set of water brushes I had bought were actually fairly cheap, so cheap that the green one that I used a couple times here, I actually pushed the bristles into the pen. Like, not so far that I couldn't get it. I did do that once, and all I had to do was unscrew it and fix it. But, yeah, they're pretty cheap, and I need better brushes. Moving on, we got to the Golden Beat. This was actually kind of my favorite, and I was almost upset because I actually forgot to save the reference to my folder earlier, and so I had to actually go look for it. So it took me a minute to find. But I'm so glad I found it, and I did save it, even though I don't technically need it now. I'm glad that I saved it. This one was just as difficult as the Tamarillo, only because it wasn't completely the golden color I was expecting. But that's also why I chose it, because it wasn't a straight up color. At the end, I left the clip, a picture of my previous study, and you'll see the carrot, which is bright orange. But the golden beet was quite different. I chose it somewhat because it had leaves on it. I was like, I need to do some leaves as well, not just the actual vegetable with just like cut off leaves. So I tried to keep those in there. I didn't add a lot to the root area at the bottom there, like I did the carrot that I did yesterday. But this was really interesting because I didn't know how to get the color I wanted. I knew I needed the glaze, but the initial layers were challenging to say the least, especially when I noticed the top half was sort of this like pale beige, maybe pale khaki color that I couldn't quite wrap my head around. And I tried, I think I should have maybe diluted the green a little bit more with some water, but like if you watch me, you could have probably seen the gears turning, trying to figure it out. Because I couldn't. I just could not figure this out, especially because it was light on one side and sort of shadowed on the other side, but I didn't want to make it so shadowed that you couldn't see what I was doing, or, it got lost in the sauce. But I tried the hardest I could, and I'm proud that I tried. Uh, because it means a lot to me to sort of practice with my mediums. And I'm not really scared about the watercolors necessarily going so fast, because they last pretty long. Like I've only used them twice, but because I have other watercolors, I think the one color that's probably going quicker in my other homemade palette is the probably the Opera Rose, which is a Winsor and Newton color. But the other two palettes, I tend to hit the phthalo blue or the yeah, I think it's a phthalo blue, and there's a green color that I really like. I can't think of the name of. Um, Although my favorite green in the Shinhan watercolor palette is definitely the peacock green and the viridian. Those are my two favorite greens. I don't know what I'm going to do with that peacock green at all. I do think I tried to use it here a little bit to sort of get into some of those shadows. I don't know if it quite had the effect I wanted, but it's definitely a learning curve, and it's definitely nice to sort of be free with my art supplies, because I was pretty allergic to them for a minute, and even now I'm still very hesitant because I want to use them for bigger projects. And even still, I have other watercolors I can play with. I will not play with the Reeves watercolors at all anymore. Um, they're good for students. I may try the brown ones out. I actually thought about buying some for my nieces. I kind of just want the cases so I can have another palette, to be quite honest with you. But at least I'm being honest with you. I don't even know what kind of watercolors I'd put in those. Maybe I'd get some gouache and try those out, because that's still the next medium I want to try out. Oh no, I forgot to flip this clip. I'll have to go back and flip it. I'm just sort of watching it in the screen here, and I didn't realize I hadn't flipped it. You know what? Maybe I'll leave it at that angle. Give you a little something different, throw you for a loop. Yeah, I think I'll do that. But yeah, also I'm sort of breezing through my sketchbook. Like, I think I'm halfway through this thing. Part of that is because I took like 6 pages out because somebody drew in it. But like, I also went to a drink and draw today, and I did not use my pages like I should have. I was just like one big picture on the page, stuff that I should break the habit of doing, but I haven't quite broken that habit. But yeah, uh, I'm going through the sketchbook way quicker than I typically do any other of my sketchbooks, and it's only been don't think it's been a month yet. March 24th I started this one. It's not even April 24th, so we'll see how far we get by the close to the end of the month, which is like 2 weeks, 3 weeks now. Yeah, we'll see where we're going. Also, I know I promised a sort of video game, project book, video for Sketchbook Sunday. I think I think for a Sunday. If not a Sunday, definitely a Friday. I will still be doing that. I think I'm going to have to rethink when I want to upload it, because I ordered a Lectrum 1917, I think that's the year there, but I ordered a Lectrum sketchbook, and I'm trying to do something totally different from the other project book. I want to have two sketchbooks for that, a travel one and a at-home one. So it'll be interesting. I'm not sure how it'll turn out yet, but that was sort of the idea. And I'm still fighting with Adobe Premiere here, so bear with me just a tiny bit of this. But yeah, I really hope that you guys enjoyed this, my little ramble about watercolors and my little tangent. But yeah, we're getting close to the end, so catch you on the flip side.
And we're finished, guys. Thanks for hanging out with me today. I really hope that you enjoyed my Sketchbook Sunday this week. I know it's a little different. It's not quite drawing. The reason I didn't include drawing in the beginning here is I thought it would take too long because I've actually got amounted quite a few clips here of me painting everything. And the dragon fruit, I think, took me the longest with about, I think, like four clips, maybe longer. So yeah. This was just my personal study. This isn't something you have to do in your sketchbook, but if you're getting into watercolor, or I suggest really anything that you're trying to use medium-wise, I would suggest painting some fruits or some veggies. I will have pictures of the other one because this is still wet and I don't want to quite move it yet. But yeah, thanks you guys for watching. I'm sorry I didn't say hello to anyone who might be new here, so hello. I hope you enjoyed your stay. If you're just watching my video and happen to stumble upon my channel and like what you saw for the Sketchbook Sunday, maybe subscribe, give this video a like, and maybe some comments down below if you have any questions or comments or even critiques you'd like to make, because I know there are some other watercolor artists out there who might be better than me. And once again, I was using the Shinhan Professional watercolors. You can get them on Amazon. Well, maybe not now. I don't know, because I think everybody is looking for these. I know I was looking for the gouache at one point, but I can't find the gouache. So yeah, I will see you guys on Tuesday. Until then, bye!